It is 4:18 on a Sunday afternoon in late October, and your father is calling you from the kitchen of the 1986 ranch house in eastern Pennsylvania you grew up in, which he and your mother bought for $68,000 in 1988, and which he has lived in every day of his adult life since. You answer on the second ring. You answer on the second ring because you are 33 years old. You have just crossed $1 million in net worth 11 days ago, and you have not, in those 11 days, told a single person, not your father, not your mother, not your brother, not the woman you have been seeing for 14 months, who you are very probably going to marry, about the number. You have not told your father, but your father, on his end of the phone, has just opened his mail. In his mail, mistakenly forwarded to him because the brokerage has an old address on file from when you used his house as a forwarding address in college, is a one-page statement. The statement has your name on it. The statement has a number on it. The number begins with a 1 and ends with 6 zeros and a comma after the first digit. Your father, on the second ring, says, "Honey, I think they sent me a piece of your mail. Can you tell me what this is?" You do not say anything for a long time. You are about to spend the next 15 years of your life finding out what the number on that statement actually meant. It did not mean what you thought it meant. You are about to become the first millionaire in your family's history. There has never been one. There was no inheritance. There was no land. There was no business sold. There was no rich uncle. There was a house on a quarter-acre on a road called Pleasant Valley Drive, a forklift dispatch job at a freight terminal in Allentown, a cafeteria job at the elementary school 3 blocks from the house, 2 children, 1 dog, and 17 years of overtime. Your father did not complain about because complaining was not, in his vocabulary, a thing you did about a job. You are going to pass through 6 levels to get to the number on the statement. At every level, the people who raised you are going to recede a little farther. By the last level, they are going to be visible to you only in the way that a town is visible from an airplane window. Present, real, but no longer something you can step into without a plan. This is the journey. Level 1. The origin story. The 1986 ranch and the diner on Route 22. You are 7 years old. The carpet in the living room is the color of old hay. The carpet has a stain on it from when your brother spilled grape juice in 1996. And your mother could not get it out, and the stain has been there ever since, and the stain is the place where you do your homework on the floor with your back against the couch. Your father works the 3rd shift at the freight terminal. You see him at 6 in the morning when he gets home, and you see him at 3 in the afternoon when he wakes up, and on Sundays you see him for the whole afternoon, and that is the day you watch the Eagles game with him on a 32-inch Magnavox television, that is, when you are 7, the only television in the house. Your mother works at the cafeteria from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then comes home and naps for an hour, and then makes dinner, and then drives you to wherever you have to be, which between the ages of 7 and 17 is mostly the public library and the high school gymnasium. Money is not a thing that is talked about. Money is a thing that is managed, in the front kitchen drawer, in a green metal box with a little brass key your mother keeps in the spice rack behind the oregano. The box has cash in it for groceries. The box has a notepad in it for what you spent and what is left until Friday. You do not know at 7 that this is what poor looks like. You do not know it at 12. You do not know it at 17. You know it the first time you walk into a friend's house in 10th grade and the friend's house has 2 televisions in it. That is the day. That is the day you understand that there are 2 Americas, and you are in the smaller one, and the only way out of the smaller one is the thing your mother has been saying to you, gently, every night since you were 9 years old in the kitchen while she packed your lunch. Honey, you are going to college. You did not understand what she meant. You understand now. Here is what nobody tells you about the scholarship. The moment you accept it, you have already moved out. The move is permanent. Your mother is going to keep packing lunches for 2 more years for your brother. The kitchen is going to look the same. The carpet stain is going to stay. The green metal box is going to stay. You are not going to live there again. You do not know it yet. Level 2. The crossing. Penn State, the city your mother has never been to. You are 17. You get into Penn State main campus on a partial academic scholarship, plus federal aid, plus a small private grant from a family in your hometown who funds 1 student a year from your county. You major in finance because finance is the major that is going to make the most money. You do not, at 17, have any other criterion. You also do not, at 17, know what finance actually is. You know it is the thing the rich kids' fathers do. You move into a dorm at State College in the August of your 18th year. Your father drives you up in the 2003 Ford Ranger he uses for work. The drive is 4 hours. He helps you carry 2 duffel bags and a plastic crate of bed sheets up to the 3rd floor of a brick dorm called Atherton Hall. He stands in the doorway of your room. He looks at the cinder block walls, he looks at the desk, he looks at you. He says, "Honey, you did this." You say, "Dad, we did this." He says, "No, you did this. I just drove." He hugs you. He hugs you for a long time. He does not cry, because crying is not, in his vocabulary, a thing you do in front of your daughter. He gets back in the Ranger. He drives back to Pleasant Valley Drive. You stand at the window of Atherton Hall and watch the truck pull out of the parking lot. You do not understand, at 18, that this is the moment your father has just paid the bill for the rest of his life. You will not understand it until you are 33. You graduate Penn State in 3.5 years with a 3.78. You take an internship in Philadelphia, your junior summer at a regional consulting firm. You take a full-time offer there, starting in January of your senior year. The offer is $65,000 a year base. $65,000 a year base is, in the year you sign the offer letter, more than your father makes at the freight terminal after 26 years of overtime. You do not tell him what the offer is for. You tell him you got a job. You tell him you're going to Philadelphia. He says, "That's wonderful, honey. We're so proud." He does not ask the number. You realize weeks later that he did not ask the number because he was protecting both of you. He did not ask because he did not want to hear an answer that would change the shape of every conversation the two of you would have for the rest of your lives. He already knew. Level 3. The first 6 figures. Easter dinner, age 28, the first lie. You are 25. The consulting firm pays you a year 3 salary of $92,000. You drive a 2014 Honda Civic you bought used for $9,000 cash. You rent a 1-bedroom in Center City, Philadelphia for $1,550 a month. You go home for Easter every year because the consulting firm has a 4-day weekend over the holiday, and because your mother makes a ham, and because if you do not show up, your mother will not say anything, but the not saying anything will be, in the family economy, a kind of currency you cannot afford. At 25, the conversation at the Easter table is fine. At 26, fine. At 27, fine. At 28, you are promoted to manager. Your all-in comp is $112,000 before tax. Your father, at the Easter table, asks you, in the genuine way he has always asked, "How's the job, honey?" You say, "Job's good, Dad." He says, "You getting paid all right?" You say, "Yeah, Dad, I'm doing fine." You say fine. You make almost 3 times what your father has ever made in a single year of his life. You say fine. That is the first lie. You will tell that lie at Easter, at Thanksgiving, at Christmas, on Sunday phone calls, at your cousin's wedding, at your aunt's funeral, at your grandmother's 80th birthday. Every single time the question comes, for the next 15 years in some version of itself, until you are nearly 40 and the lie has become a wall between you and the man who drove you up to State College in the Ford Ranger when you were 18. You did not know you were building a wall. You thought you were being kind. The thing that breaks at $250,000 is not the bank account. It is the version of you that still belonged at the kitchen table. You will not see it break in real time. You will see it broken in retrospect on a Tuesday morning in your 34th year in a neighborhood your father has never been to. You are about to find out which one. Level 4. The first million. 33 years old. The brokerage account ticks over on a Wednesday at 11:14 in the morning. You leave the consulting firm at 30. You leave because a former client, an enterprise software company in Cambridge, has offered you a senior strategy role with a base of $175,000 and a meaningful equity grant in a company that, at the time of your offer letter, is doing $40 million in ARR and growing 80% year over year. You take it. You move to Cambridge. You rent a 2-bedroom near Inman Square for $3,800 a month. The company hits $100 million ARR by your 2nd year. You are promoted. Your equity vests on a 4-year schedule with a 1-year cliff. By your 3rd anniversary, the company files for an IPO. The S1 prices on a Friday in March of your 33rd year. The stock pops 32% on the open. Your equity, on paper, is $2.8 million. After tax, after vesting schedule, after the secondary you negotiated with the lead investor at the round before the IPO, you have, at 33, approximately $1.1 million in liquid net worth. The brokerage account ticks over the $1 million line on a Wednesday in October at 11:14 in the morning. You are at your desk. The account auto-refreshes. You see the number cross. You do not stand up. You do not call anybody. You do not text the woman you have been seeing for 14 months. You go to the kitchen. You make a coffee. You stand at the counter and you drink it. You do not speak. You go back to your desk. That night, in your apartment, you sit on the floor of the bedroom in the dark, and you try to figure out who you are supposed to call. The list you make in your head is your mother, your father, your brother, the woman you are seeing, your college roommate, your old boss from the consulting firm. You realize you cannot call any of them. You cannot call your parents because the number is so far above any number that has ever been spoken in your family that you would have to spend 30 minutes explaining what liquid net worth means before you could even tell them what happened. And you cannot face that conversation. You cannot call your brother because your brother has not crossed a state line in 7 years. You cannot call the woman you are seeing because the two of you have not, yet, had any conversation about money, and you do not want the first one to be $1 million. You cannot call your college roommate because your college roommate is going to be jealous, and the jealousy is going to be silent and corrosive, and you have learned that lesson once already, and you do not want to learn it again. You cannot call your old boss because your old boss makes more money than you do, and the news is, to him, a footnote. You sit on the floor of the bedroom in the dark for 2 hours. You do not call anybody. You go to bed, you sleep 4 hours, you wake up at 5:30 and go to the gym. That is the day you cross $1 million. Level 5. The phone call. The bank statement that arrives at the wrong house. The phone call is 11 days after the brokerage tickover. It is 4:18 on a Sunday afternoon in late October. You are on the couch in the Cambridge apartment. Your father is in the kitchen on Pleasant Valley Drive. He has just opened his mail. There is a one-page statement from a brokerage house with your name on it. The brokerage has an old address on file from when you used his house as a forwarding address in college. The statement, by a small administrative error, was sent to him. He is 61 years old. He works the third shift still. He has not, in his entire adult life, opened a piece of his daughter's mail. He opens this one on a Sunday afternoon in October because the envelope is from a financial institution, and he is afraid, for 1/2 second between the kitchen counter and the kitchen table, that you are in some kind of trouble. He is not in trouble. He is in something neither of you have a word for yet. He calls you. You answer on the second ring. He says, "Honey, I think they sent me a piece of your mail. Can you tell me what this is?" You do not say anything for a long time. He says, "Honey, the number on the statement. Is that what you have?" You say very quietly, "Yeah, Dad." He says, "All of it?" You say, "Yeah, Dad, all of it." There is a long silence on the line. You can hear, through the silence, the refrigerator hum on Pleasant Valley Drive. You can hear, very faintly, the sound of the Eagles game your mother is watching in the living room on the same Magnavox television you watched with him on Sundays when you were 7. He says, finally, Okay, honey, okay." He says, I'm going to go now. I love you." He hangs up. You sit on the couch in Cambridge in the late October sunlight with your phone in your hand for a long time. He does not call you the next Sunday. He does not call you the Sunday after that. When he finally calls you, 3 Sundays later on a Sunday at 4:18, the same time exactly, the same time he calls every week, because Sunday at 4:18 is when the Eagles game goes to halftime, he does not mention the statement. He does not mention it ever again, for the rest of his life. Level 6. The new family. The Thanksgiving split in half. You are 35. You marry a woman named Eliza. Eliza is 33. Eliza grew up in a 5-bedroom in Brookline. Eliza's father is a retired neurologist who keeps a small beechcraft at Hanscom Field. Eliza's mother is a federal judge on the First Circuit. Eliza has 2 siblings, both with PhDs, both married to other PhDs. Eliza is, by every measurable index, the kind of partner that the version of you that left Atherton Hall at 21 was hoping to become eventually. Eliza is also, by every measurable index, a good and gentle person who does not, when she meets your father at your engagement dinner in Boston, condescend to him in any visible way, and who, in the months following the engagement, asks you very thoughtful questions about your family and tries her best to understand a kind of childhood that did not, in her experience, exist. The wedding is at her parents' house in Brookline. Your mother flies up, her first flight in 11 years. Your father drives. Your brother, who is by then 28 and works at the same forklift dispatch terminal your father did, does not come. Your brother says it is because he cannot get the time off. You know that is not the reason. You do not push. The Thanksgivings, after the wedding, split in half. Even years are with Eliza's family in Brookline. Odd years are with your parents in Pennsylvania. The first odd year Thanksgiving in Pennsylvania, you fly your father and mother to Boston and rent a car at Logan and drive everybody down to Pleasant Valley Drive. You get there at 3. The house is the same. The carpet stain is still there. Your mother makes the same turkey she has made every Thanksgiving since you were 6. Eliza is gracious. Eliza compliments the pumpkin pie. Eliza laughs at your father's joke about the Ranger. Eliza is trying. Your father, after dinner, in the kitchen, alone with you, while you wash a plate and he dries it, says very quietly, "Honey, she's a wonderful woman. We are so happy for you." He says, "I just want you to know, your mother and I, we don't need anything. We're fine here. You don't have to worry about us." You say, "Dad." He says, "I'm not asking. I'm telling. Your money is your money, honey. Your mother and I, we built this place. We don't need it changed. We don't need a new kitchen. We don't need a new car. We don't need anything." He says, "All we need is you to come home sometimes." You stand at the sink. You hold the plate. You realize, in the silence between his sentence and your answer, that the lie you have been telling at the Easter table since you were 28 has been, the entire time, the wrong lie. The lie was not about the number. The lie was about whether the number was going to change anything. The number had already changed everything. You just hadn't, until that moment in the kitchen with the dish towel in your father's hand, said it out loud. Your brother is named Cole. Cole is 2 years younger than you. Cole did not finish high school. Cole worked at a gas station from 16 to 19, then took a forklift certification course, then went to work at the same dispatch terminal in Allentown your father has worked at for 28 years. Cole is 36 now. Cole is married to a woman named Renee, who he met at the bowling alley in Bethlehem when he was 23. Cole and Renee have 2 boys, one named after your father, one named after Renee's grandfather. Cole and Renee live in a 1972 ranch on Cedarbrook Lane, 4 miles from Pleasant Valley Drive. The mortgage is $140,000. The payment is $712 a month. They will own the house outright in 11 years. Cole's salary at the dispatch terminal is $63,000 a year before overtime. With overtime, $81,000. Renee runs a small in-home daycare from the house and clears another $40,000 after expenses. Combined household income, $121,000. You make 6 times what Cole makes in a single year. Cole has not been on an airplane in 4 years. Cole has not been to Cambridge. Cole has not, on any phone call in the 7 years since you crossed your first 6 figures, asked you about your job, your apartment, your wife, or your money. Cole asks you about the Eagles. Cole asks you whether you remember the time the 2 of you flooded the basement with the garden hose in the summer of 2000. Cole asks you whether you have read the new Stephen King. Cole has, since the year he was 26, sent you a birthday card every November on the actual day of your birthday. In each card, he writes, in the same blue pen, the same sentence, "Happy birthday, sis. I love you." Cole. You have never sent Cole a birthday card. You realize this, suddenly, on a Sunday morning in your 38th year, sitting at the kitchen island in the Cambridge apartment, drinking coffee, looking through a stack of old mail. You sit down at the kitchen island. You take out a piece of stationery. You write, "Happy birthday, brother. I love you. Sis." You realize, as you seal the envelope, that Cole's birthday is in March, and it is October. You do not throw the card out. You put the card in a drawer. You will give it to him in March. You have not, yet, in the entire course of this video, met a person who has been more consistently kind to you than your brother. And you have not, in the entire course of this video, until this moment at the kitchen island on a Sunday in October, noticed. Cole is, by every measurable index, the happiest person in this video. Cole does not know he is in this video. That is part of why he is happy. You are 38 years old. You are the first millionaire in your family's history. You are also the first person in your family's history to spend a Christmas Eve in a hotel room 3 time zones from where you were born, watching your wife unwrap your daughter's gifts on a video call, eating a $10 gas station sandwich because the room service kitchen closed at 10. The first millionaire is also the first to leave. Nobody warned you. Nobody warned your father. He picks up the phone on the first ring every time you call now because he is afraid that if he lets it go to the second ring, you will not call again, and you have not, in 7 years, told him that you would never not call because you do not know yet whether it is true.